Hi there, YouTube. Picked up a couple things of note here from my local thrift stores. Thought I'd like to share with you. If you're seeing this before Halloween, go ahead and enter my contest. I'll put a link up here. Giving this away to U.S. Residents, and this will be international. So if you're interested in that, go check out that. Anyway, so this was a couple dollars, $2. But what's interesting about it, I usually don't buy these if they don't have a unit name or some kind of description on it, because it's almost impossible to pinpoint these if they don't have that. But there are some clues on this picture that were interesting. First of all, was this Australia 1942. You know, that gives you a little bit, but you can already start to see it there. There's a dog in this picture. Let's see. It's going to be hard to... That doesn't seem to want to do it. No, that's just making it worse. So anyway, let's see if I can zoom in here. This dog looks a lot like Smokey. It's a little bit bigger, so maybe it isn't. But if you know the story of Smokey, you know that he was found on an island in 1944. So this would predate that. So maybe this is where Smokey came. I mean, this is a wild guess, of course. Maybe this is Smokey. Maybe this is the unit he came from, because this would be... I zoomed in as far in as I could onto these guys, shoulder, I mean not shoulder, but devices there on their collar devices, and it looks like a bomb. So I'm thinking these guys are some of the original U.S. Army Air Force ordnance guys that would have been support, shipped from island to island with the Air Force for ordnance purposes, reload the planes and such. So maybe that's where Smokey came from. Maybe that's him, but hard to say. It's just a guess. Just a total speculation. Another interesting thing is that there appears to be a Chamorro in here. If you don't know, a Chamorro is somebody from Guam. Right there, see him? Kind of interesting. I would imagine if I were to get crazy trying to research this unit, he'd be the key. Because I wouldn't imagine too many of them were in regular units like this. I mean, look at the rest of them are all white. So, all white, one Chamorro. And I'm pretty sure that's what he is, because he looks just like my friend Ken, who was 100%. So, again, could be wrong. This could be something, just a different dog. But they were pretty unusual, especially in pictures. So, if you happen to know anything about the Chamorro or the dog, or any of these other people for that matter, go ahead and put it down below. Like I said, the only thing I could really see is this guy's a captain, this guy's a lieutenant, this guy's also a lieutenant, this guy's, you can see his rank. Then everybody else kind of looks, just regular old enlisted guys. So that was the first thing. Kind of interesting, for a couple bucks, kind of fun to take a look at, especially with that impression there. I mean, it has something, but that's literally all it has. So, and I tried to look in Australia at the bases to see if I could see this hanger anywhere, because it is a hanger. You can see it's got a giant door in it. But I couldn't. This doesn't really match with the vent and the way that the thing. It doesn't really match any of the existing structures. But then again, this probably would have been an ordnance, something. So maybe it would have been away from the airplanes. I don't know. Just guessing. Total guesses. So this was the other thing I found for a whopping quarter. It's not in great shape, I wouldn't say. In fact, it's in really bad shape. And they're not that rare or anything, but what it is the bomb buildings of Britain. What's kind of interesting, what I found kind of interesting, like I said, it's in bad shape, so it's all split and everything, is if you look at the publication date, it's 1943. So, as bad as this is, and this is actually the second impression here, as bad as what's in this book is, it's gonna get worse. You guys still got several months, 18, 16, 18 months of frickin' bombing and B1s and B2s left. So this ain't it. This is just the beginning. Kind of an interesting book. What I thought was kind of interesting is that it only talks about the building and the damage. It has no mention of like any of the German activity, like what time of day or how many bombers or anything like that. All it does is talk about, the structure and the damage, which is kind of interesting. I mean, it's gives you kind of an insight into what they were trying to do. So like I said, this book isn't that, it's not valuable or anything. I looked it up online. There's a bunch of them, but some of the images are very interesting if you're into that kind of the effects of explosives on something that was never meant to be bombed or exploded. Kind of gives you an example of what it would have been like back in the early days of artillery when they just rolled up into towns and just started shelling things. But of course a little more modern take on it. And not to take away from any of the victims, they're just as dead. Doesn't really matter what the conflict is, does it? But the pictures remain, and they're kind of a telling evidence of the past. And like I said, this is fairly common knowledge. I'm sure any of these pictures you could find online if you really wanted to for each individual location. But to have them all here in one book is kind of nice. So unfortunately it's water damaged and just not in good shape. But the pictures are still readable and the text is still readable. So for 25 cents, I'd say for sure. I mean, even to make a decoupage something out of that would be awesome. I'm not sure what, but something freaking awesome. So, quick recap. So for $2.25, I got a afternoon worth of fun, and this might be I might be able to do something with this. I don't know though. I've got so much other stuff to research. This is just kind of a fringe thing. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.